Dear students, today we are presenting a topic from the Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born in 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. She was one of the most famous victims of the Holocaust and is best known for her Diary of a Young Girl. She moved from Germany to Netherlands in 1930 with her family after Hitler gained power in Germany. However, the Germans invaded Netherlands in 1940. The increased persecution of Jews forced her family to go in hiding. In 1942, during those 2 years, Annie wrote in her diary whatever was happening in her life. She hoped to be a writer. However, when her family was being transported to Bergen-Belsen camp, she died of typhus days after her sister Margaret died. Her father was the only member of her family who survived the Holocaust. After her death, her father got her diary published. The Diary of a Young Girl was originally published in Dutch language in 1947 under the title Het Diaries. It was translated into more than 60 languages. It chronicles various events from 12th of June 1942 to 1st of August 1944. The chapter that we are going to study is an extract from her diary with slight adaptation. It portrays her personal experiences. She is a 13-year-old girl. Let's take a look in this chapter. Paper has more patience than people, Anne Frank thought of this saying as she sat alone at home, wondering whether she to go out or not. She decided not to and thought about writing in a diary. What she needed was a friend. This didn't mean that she was lonely. Rather, Anne Frank had a loving family and 30 people she could call friends. However, with friends, she felt like talking about ordinary things and having a good time rather than talk about the sick. This, she felt, was unlikely to change, so she decided to start a diary. It was a strange experience for her. Writing, she had never written anything before. She also didn't believe anyone would be interested in what she wrote in her diary. But that didn't matter. She felt like writing. She also felt the great need to get things off her chest. Finally, she wanted a friend, so she named her diary Kitty. She began by giving a brief introduction of her family. Her parents were Otto and Edith Frank. They immigrated to Holland. Anne and Margaret, her sister, were raised by their grandmother before they joined their parents. Her grandmother underwent an operation in 1941 and then passed away in 1942. Anne often thought of her. So, having made introductions, she wrote to Kitty on 20th of June 1942. Her entire class was terrified of the upcoming teachers' meeting. In this meeting, the teachers would decide who would move to the next grade. Anne, irritated by her classmates, wrote that at least a quarter of the class deserved to fail. But she also knew that teachers were the most unpredictable creatures on earth. For herself, she was not too worried. All they could do was wait and not lose heart. She believed she got along well with her teachers. However, Mr. Kissing, the maths teacher, was annoyed with her for talking in class. So, he assigned her extra homework. It was an essay on the subject, a chatterbox. That evening, Anne thought over this topic. What she wanted was to come up with a convincing argument as to why one should talk rather than write an unnecessarily long essay. So she argued that she inherited this habit from her mother and there was nothing that could be done about inherited traits. Though Mr. Kissing enjoyed the argument, he assigned her a second essay when she talked through his class again. Mr. Keesing liked her second essay so much that he left her alone for the next 2 lessons. However, when caught talking in a lesson after that, Mr. Keesing assigned her a third essay. "Quack, quack, quack," said Mistress Chatterbox. Her entire class laughed at the title and laughed too, but she was also running out of ideas by this time. It was, she decided, time to come up with something else. So, with a friend's help, she wrote a poem about a family of ducks. In the poem, the 3 baby ducklings were bitten to death by their father for quacking too much. This poem was received very well. Mr. Keesing read this poem aloud to the class. Since then, Anne could talk in class and wasn't assigned any extra homework. In fact, Anne humorously confides in Kitty. Mr. Keesing jokes often after that.